It's You Up with Nikki Glaser. Andrew Collin is here, and now Chelsea Handler is here. Chelsea, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Oh my God.
Thanks for being here.
I'm so excited you're here. First of all, she's here promoting her book, Life Will Be the Death of Me. You have to get this book. Get this book for anyone in your life who you think might need to go to therapy. This will sell them on it. That's why I'm so excited about this book. You got into it late. I can't believe you didn't go to therapy until you
I did. I tried to, but I wasn't being honest.
Oh, right.
Like I was trying to go to therapy.
Did you send your assistant for you at one point?
One time I did. I was like, I can't go to therapy today, Karen. Can you go? And then she came back, and then the next week I go, can you just go again? Because it was cost. They charge you to cancel. So I was like, oh fuck it. And so she'd go, and then finally after like 3 sessions, I was like, how's it going? And she's like, I don't know. We're talking about you. Is that what we're supposed to be talking about?
Take notes.
Obviously, I wasn't taking that seriously, that therapist.
Yeah. And then then Trump happened, and you were like, something's going on with me with my anger. Mm-hmm. And then you called up a guy that had been on your show on Netflix that you had interviewed, a therapist, and you went back.
Yeah, and I started to talk, after a while, I started to talk about real things, mm-hmm. but I went in with the notion that we're not going to discuss my childhood, and I real quickly told him, like, my brother died, my mom's dead, but I'm cool, I just need to move forward in a better, more patient manner, mm-hmm. and I have a lot of anger towards Trump, and, and blah, blah, blah. So it took, but it was the right time for me, and it's embarrassing that it had to take so long. But better late to the party than never showing up at all.
I'm so glad you found it, because the way you talk about it in this book sold me on it again, because I'm in between therapists, and I got to tell you, I finished your book on the train on the way here, and I go, I'm tearing up because you're just making so much sense to me. And I got out of this train. I went to a text message from a friend who I knew had suggested a new therapist. I found her suggestion, and I wrote an email to the therapist literally an hour ago being like, let's do it again, because your book, and I've been in therapy for years, but I needed another
I'm going
push.
for you, right?
You're going to be going for me.
On Tuesday at 3.
But please do talk about me.
I will. I mean, I'll talk partly about it. I'm going to take a little advantage.
Even if you did go in for yourself, you'd be talking
for you to go for a bunch of sessions and come back to Nikki, and Nikki's just like, okay, so what's my game plan?
You're doing great, Nikki.
Like, you're just sitting there sorting out her problems with a therapist and reporting back.
You know your brother died? No, I didn't know that. I put that. Yeah, exactly.
Well, he's dead. That's why he's dead, and that's why you don't have him anymore.
But you've gotten into a lot of things late in, like, I feel like you're stumbling.
I got my period too.
That a girl.
I'm bursting
and you're
into
wearing
womanhood.
white. You don't even care.
No. I only wear white when I get my period. I mean, that's what older women told me to do. So that's how I'm entering my flow state.
I actually went to the gynecologist yesterday because I haven't been getting my period. Do you ever just go through periods where you're not getting it? Well, and you're like, this is kind of great.
I went to my gynecologist.
But my bones are breaking.
Yeah, you're like, can you do a bone scan on me? I'd like to make sure that I'm not going to die anytime soon.
Yeah.
I went to a gynecologist a couple weeks ago, and I was really excited because I woke up and my head was like soaking wet. Like I had like hot sweats. Yeah. I was like, oh, it's coming. I'm 44. I'm like, oh, I'm probably get early menopause because I don't have kids. And I heard I'm sure that's not true, but you get you go through menopause earlier. I was like, great. I go to the doctor. I'm like, hey, I had hot flashes. I'm like, my feet are sticky. I'm like, so I think we're getting ready to wrap things up here. And she's like, you're about to get your period. So that's PMS. And I was like, oh, fuck.
I'm a woman now.
I was like, let's get this party over with because I'm not into my period anymore. It's
a
wrap on that.
It sucks. I've been enjoying not getting it, but then I realized that you do have to get it to be like a
healthy.
Yeah. Like my bones, I really do feel like there's something going on.
Do you have a boyfriend right now?
No, dude. I related so much to your whole thing about pushing men away and feeling like you don't need them and feeling your best self when you are single and being able to get so much more done. That part of the book made me cry too, just realizing that you're like, maybe I do want a relationship, and I'm realizing it with you. I mean, it was really, I related to so much of what you said. Can we talk about weed? Like, why did you get into weed so late? And what have you found from, like, what are the benefits you found from it?
I was taking sleeping pills, so, like, too frequently.
Yeah.
I mean, and I was having trouble sleeping. And so that was my initial reason to try. I used to take it recreationally, but I was never like a big stoner or anything. I was more of a drinker. And then with microdosing and the educational component that is now available when you buy something at a store, and it labels everything and tells you what kind of strain it is and what THC and CBD ratio is. I was like, okay, well, now this is now scientific and there's data behind it and you can actually know what you're putting into your mouth. So that was a game changer. And then I just started using it, and I like to enable others. That's like a strong suit of mine. I like to get people to use things that are going to help them. Like my niece has a lot of anxiety really badly, and it was preventing her from really flourishing in school. And I don't say flourishing, by the way. I don't know where I got that word from The Bachelor. And, but it helped her calm down when she had to give a presentation. It helped, it changed my sleeping patterns. And then I was started using it during the day, edibles or vaping. Like I'd go to me, and I'm always in a constant state of annoyance. I find most people incredibly annoying, and I just wish everyone would stop talking to me, all the time. And then I was like, this can't be the way that I'm supposed to feel. Like, it's such an unnatural default zone. There must be an injury as to why I got here. Still thinking it had nothing to do with my brother dying when I was 9 years old.
Right.
Still thinking, what happened that I can't identify?
Oh my God.
Where is that thing? Can someone talk to me and tell me what it is? Until
Your
the doctor
assistant
was
wrote it down. You never read the notes.
I know, it's like, your brother's dead. Deal with it, okay? He died.
But you remembered your mom at one point being like, well, she's in, you had some flare up at home and you stormed out and you heard your mom say to your dad, she's in a lot of pain, let her deal with it. And you just go, that's not pain. You had, reflecting now, you're like, she saw that I was in pain. I had no idea.
Or people would say to me, God, you seem so angry. And I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
You fucking idiot. I'm not angry.
Oh, no, now you're happy. Now you're good.
Yeah, and you'd be like, I feel great. I mean, why do I have to walk around smiling?
Wait, tell me what you do when there's a long line and you're trying to buy something.
I leave money either sometimes
Like
on
on
the
more
Hudson
money.
News.
Yeah.
No, seriously, I will at an airport. If there is a long line or any line, I will take a magazine or a book, usually a book, because I try not to read trash anymore. But
Right.
I take a book or whatever I'm going to buy, soda, and I wave it in front of the security camera, and then I wave money and I put it down so that they know I was here. I want to be accountable, but I will not wait in that fucking line. It's too ridiculous.
And you've never been in trouble for doing that.
I mean, now people are going to look out for it probably, but
you're just leaving a 20 on a shelf.
But I can't deal with that stuff. When this is another thing. When people come to your hotel room when you order room service, this is supposed to be a nice exchange. You're happy, you're getting room service. Sure. It's a luxury. And then they come and they act like they don't know where they're supposed to go with the food. It's who's gotten the wrong room service delivery ever? And that's never happened to me once, that I got surprise food at a hotel room and I ate it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that exchange, when they come in and then they dance around and then they take the plate off and and it's like, buddy, get the fuck out of here.
I don't let them in. I just grab it from the hallway. I won't let them come in.
Oh, well, how do you sign the check?
I just hold and assign. Or I'll sign before I grab. I sign before I grab.
Gesticulating when you go like this. I just hold. Are you
cover
wearing a
my
towel?
nipples. Yeah. I have pasties on. No. But I'll sign and then grab. Sign and grab.
But you're not avoiding the awkward interaction. You're avoiding someone seeing how disgusting you are inside your room.
Yeah,
that's what you're avoiding.
Great
in that.
distinction.
And you live clean?
I do the same thing, but I really relate to this frustration of.
Yes, the awkwardness.
People are slow. People are so.
It's not.
Well, we were in
It's
Florida.
not awkward.
They were very
I don't
slow.
mind the awkward.
Okay.
I
Yes,
mind the
it's the
slowness of the
slow.
transaction.
Okay.
That can drive me to drink. You know what I mean? That kind of behavior, and it's like when somebody's leading you, for instance, walking you somewhere, and they're not in front of you, but they're behind you and they're leading the way. Like someone's walking you through an airport. These are very relatable examples that I'm giving. I know.
It's like when your butler is carrying you too slow.
It's like when your butler knocks on your door. I sound like such a whore. Oh my God. Well,
No, you're
this
right.
is it.
It's true though. It's like I relate to that too. People are so goddamn slow, and you found that weed has helped you just with your anger with that, or you can slow down now?
Weed allowed me to slow down long enough to take meditating seriously because I could not meditate. And I also, living in Los Angeles, it is very hard to listen to phrases like gratitude and universe being thrown around and overused. I was very allergic to that kind of language. Like, shut up about kale. I get it. It's, you know what I mean? We're all going to the bathroom now. Everybody has kale. It's fine. But like with regard to that, I was very resistant because it represented to me a cliche like, oh, LA, you go to LA, you go to therapy, you go to psychiatrist, and then you talk about yourself, and you're already a narcissist because you're famous, and blah blah blah. So I had a whole like narrative that I was telling myself about therapy, and that I was too cool for it.
Yeah, and you just used the word narcissist. You were scared to take that test.
Yeah, I was like, for sure, I'm a narcissist. Why else would I be behaving like?
Right.
Like, why am I so? Why do I need to be famous?
Why do you need to? You always need to talk. I related to that. I relate to that as well. Like, you want the attention on you. You said one time you were learning. Can you tell the story about learning to wakeboard? This was like made me so sad, and I related to it so much.
Pathetic. We're in Croatia, obviously.
I've been to Croatia. Hvar?
Yeah. We were right, probably around there, because it was anyway.
Off the coast of Split.
And we were. I was with a boyfriend who was incredible, water skier and wakeboarder. And he was like, so I was really trying to prove to him that I could do it, that I was tough, that I like to be scrappy, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I'm a tomboy, I take pride in that. Like, I loved that growing up, that I was with my brothers all the time. You know, I felt like the cool girl, which is another disservice women do to each other by trying to be the cool girl within a group of boys. It's like, I should have been hanging out with my sisters, although, you know, my brothers didn't teach me anything. You know what I mean? They gave me no life skills whatsoever. And one of them died, so he's an asshole. But
wakeboarding?
Wakeboarding, yeah. So I got up, I kept going, and I couldn't get it. I was hitting the water, wiping out one time after another, and it was like 4 hours. And so we had rented this boat, and all my friends were on this boat, watching me for the first 20 minutes, and then they were like, all right, loser, give up, you can't do it. And they went inside, and then I just spent the next 4 hours like, I'm gonna get up. And then finally, when I did get up, I looked over and to wave at all of my friends, and everybody had gone inside.
Finally have your
And how did you feel fulfilled at all?
I felt like Leo DiCaprio in like Titanic. I was like, this is my moment.
No, but I'm saying when no one saw it.
And then I came crashing down. I was like, oh shit. I was like, this is the second time something like this has happened, where I'm performing and no one's watching.
That's a painful moment. But do you think that if you would have come to all these realizations earlier on in your career, where I don't need to be talking all the time, I don't need to be the center of attention, I don't need to make everyone laugh, do you think you would have achieved the things you've achieved had you not had that drive to constantly be on?
I think that there is a combination of that ambition that is coupled with, you know, this deflection of real, like, I didn't want, you know, vulnerability wasn't an option. So the other option was to be tough. You know what I mean? So that's what I chose. So that trajectory sticks together and is coupled with a fast career and a fast moving and do this and do that and be in charge. And, you know, the power you get by being a powerhouse and saying whatever you want happens in every capacity, you know, that you have to be a really healthy person to get all of that and still be okay. And for a long time, I really was. And then for a long time, I was not. Mm-hmm. So I thought I was like, oh, I can handle this. Everyone would say, you're so great at this. You don't get annoyed when people come up to you on the street and take pictures, which I never do. You know, I try and be always like little things that I could pinpoint that I was doing well at.
Yeah.
And then when I started, you know, and now and then going into therapy after the election, when I was really in a state of like, okay, I have something I need to fix. I don't know what it is. Then I could reflect back at the times and realize, oh, that's why there was a lot of light and then there was a lot of dark, you know?
Yeah, so in a way it did propel you, but it didn't have to be as
I could have done myself a service by getting to therapy about 10 years earlier. Mm-hmm. Again, I don't like to judge myself too much because, you know, you can let the public do that for you. But I don't want to be too hard on myself. You know, it's powerful to embrace. You know, I also don't want to be a crybaby and be like, okay, so for me, writing this book was the most vulnerable thing I've ever done. And it was hugely cathartic because I would sit in airports across the world bawling while I was writing, because that's where I write most of my stuff is in, you know, lounges or on planes. And I was like, this feels right. This is right. You should do this no matter what. If it, like in the beginning, my editor, Julie Grau, who's sitting over there trying to pretend like she's busy.
Great job.
Or ignoring her client who's in an interview. She was like, you have something deeper inside of you. and I didn't have an editor who, like my last book, I tried to say that to my editor. I was like, hey, I think I need to write about my mom dying, or I think, and she's like, I don't care what you write, just give it to me. Like, they wanted to put a book out, and I put a book out, and I participated in that, and I didn't want that to do that again. So for this, the catharsis of it and writing about it and getting it out and putting it on paper feels like I extinguished a big part of my pain. And it's not like I'm cooked and I'm fixed and I'm great. No, it's like I got myself back on the right track, and now I have to go and get better in every possible way that I can.
It's so cool to see, because I mean, this is your 6th book. You have a lot of books under that you've put out, and you think like, oh, you probably have covered it all in those books. But this is the first. I think I read your first one, and then I devoured this one. It is so vulnerable, and as someone, I feel like I always say too much. I overshare all the time, and for me to be like, wow, she admitted that, it was really. It gave me. It made me feel more fearless in saying what is really going on with me and acknowledging my white privilege. That's something that you really dig into in this book, and I know that you have a documentary coming out about that, and that's a sensitive topic because you feel like, am I even allowed to talk about my white privilege? But you just lean into it, and you're just telling the truth.
I think that, you have to tell the truth if you're like, especially if you have a comedic background, like that is you don't have a choice but to tell the truth. It's what you do, like as a stand-up. And that is my need. Like, for a long time in the last couple of years, I was like, well, what am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do with my life? I can't possibly just be doing a talk show. Like, that doesn't feel right for me. What is my true purpose, or what is my drive? And so to do something and feel the integrity of the work be at a different level because of the amount of focus you put into something.
Yes.
I'd never done one thing at a time in my life. I'd never written a book and that's it. Like, it was a book, a show, and a tour. It was a book, a show, and a tour for 6 years straight. And so to be able to do this book, to do this tour, and to be present and to not be shit-faced and to be like,
It shows, dude. It shows. This book, I'm telling you, buy it for any girl, guy, anyone in your life who just is not tapping into their anger or their emotions, and you can see it, and maybe you don't even know what's going on with them. This will help them. It will start the conversation for them with themselves about someone who thought they had it all figured out. And by all means, you did. I mean, your career's been you've been the most successful you could be. To see you go, actually, I don't have it figured out, was eye-opening to me, because I follow you and thought, oh, that's all I want to be is Chelsea Handler. I want that respect in the business. I want it from my peers, from fans. And to see you admit that, no, I need to shut the fuck, like, you being like, I need to shut the fuck up. I'm like, I tell myself that all the time. Stop talking. And then, I related so much when you go, well, your therapist is like, you work too hard. You're running all the time. And you go, well, why? Explain me sleeping 20 hours. And he's like, you're exhausted. And I always beat myself up when I sleep a lot. But it's because you run yourself ragged. It makes complete sense.
Yeah.
And I love how vocal you are about weed now, because I've found it to be extremely medicinal for me. I have a lot of guilt wrapped up in it because I don't drink. And at first I started out being completely sober from both. And then when I started using weed again, I felt like I'm not sober anymore. And so I have a lot of guilt. And you being so outspoken about smoking weed or doing whatever edibles has made me feel like, okay, I'm onto something, that it actually makes me better.
It does make you better. And listen, I can relate to that. And you should not have any guilt. This is something that grows out of any construct that you have guilt in. And I know you know all of this, but any guilt that you have is a construct of societal bullshit. This is a plant that grows out of our ground, and we have illegalized it and criminalized it. And we are going to go into an area in the next 20 years where it's going to become legal throughout this country and many others. And we are going to look back at this time as the prohibition of marijuana. And you are right to use it. It is medicinal. If you find, this earth is medicinal, and we're sitting here buying fucking pills from the pharmaceutical industry who's making everybody into an addict. Yeah, smoke weed.
I know. And I have so much guilt wrapped up in it but I do feel like when you talked about the effect of when you pop an edible and then it clicks, you beautifully described the feeling where you forget that you've taken an edible, suddenly you get high or whatever, and your perception shifts. It's not like you're like suddenly like, whoa, colors and music, but you just pay attention to something that you wouldn't have paid attention to before.
Everything becomes a little bit more sparkly.
Sparkly is the word you use, and it was perfect. And I feel that it is so good for me in conversation to smoke weed sometimes, to shut up and listen more. For my comedy it is, and obviously you can abuse any kind of substance, and there are times where I'm like, okay, you didn't need to be high for that interview,
for sure,
or whatever. But
are you sober from alcohol? Did you quit drinking?
Yeah, I quit drinking like 8 years ago, and so weed for me, when I got back into it, I was like, oh, I'm using something again to not feel. And yeah, I do that with weed. Sometimes I don't want to feel my feelings, so I get high, but then I feel them in a different way.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't really think there's any problem with weed. You can argue that it's a filter. And yeah, if you're blottoed all day, but it's like people, I mean, yeah, then you're not knowing what's happening, but like it's an enhancement.
Yes.
It helps if I needed a gateway drug to get me to meditate, you know what I mean? Weed calmed me down long enough that I could sit still and not insert myself, and it slows my reaction time down, which for me is good because I talk too much and fast. And so when I have a chance to there's just no benefit. You can't beat yourself up about that. The guilt, you got to extinguish it. And I don't know how. I wish I could tell you how.
No, I think you just did. You really have, like, watching your Instagram and just seeing you talk so much about it. And you're developing a weed line and you're doing all this research. She got her sister really high, like gave her an edible. And then you were like interviewing your sister about the effects of it for your weed line. Like, I can't wait for your weed line because you've done so much research, and I don't see that research when I go to the store in these products. They all look like they're packaged in a way to just sell it to me, and it's like cute. It looks like a little.
I'm gonna send you a care package of the new stuff I have coming.
Wait to try your stuff because you've done the work on it, and I wanted to just talk to you about the relationships. You nailed it. You're talking to your therapist in your book.
But wait, I want to say one more thing about weed, because I think it's important for women also that are listening, and for us, like, we have to empower and embolden each other, because men, it's a male drug. Like, men have no problem lighting up in a restaurant, smoking a joint, walking down the street. Women are not doing that, and we need to be. They don't get that too.
Yes. Okay. I am doing that. I do that. And do you vape it?
Yeah.
It's so convenient.
Yeah, I have a vape in my bag.
I have nice.
Edibles on. I mean, I pop blueberries all day long.
all
day. I mean, I haven't had one yet, and I'm like, what's wrong? Something's off.
It's me.
Yeah, it's definitely you.
It's not you.
I knew
it's
it was you the minute you walked in the door.
There's no sparkly going on over here at all. Yeah, it's bad.
Dead space.
Yeah, it's the Zoloft that I take.
You say in the book you've had 2 serious relationships in your adult life, and your therapist goes, that's not enough, right?
Yeah.
And I relate to that. I've had one, and I often attribute it to the fact, which you say as well, is like, I'm a sassy, brash bitch, and straight men aren't feeling that.
Yeah, they're not into
What
it.
do we do? What do I do?
Well, you have to find a foreigner, first of all.
Okay, that's what you sound like. I wanted to ask you about that. What, they're into it?
Well, there's a language barrier.
Yes.
And also,
you can't boss them around.
They don't know what you're saying. It's better if there's a little bit of like a language, you know what I mean? Like, you don't speak both languages, so that there's confusion, because that way men are like, oh, she's funny and cute. They don't realize like what's going on. I mean, I know what you mean, and we are in a place where believe me, it's hard. I have so many people that I know in my life that are like, where are we supposed to meet a guy? And it's like, listen, they're out there. Somebody's out there.
Yeah.
There are too many people in this world. There's a lot of people out there. So, like, there are multiple boyfriends that are out there of yours that you're going to find. But I know what you mean. It's hard to say, like, because you're like, what am I supposed to have a different personality and pretend I'm someone else to get a guy?
Yeah, and that's what I'm doing a lot of times, is I'm trying to be a different person because I need to be more feminine, or I need to just be quiet and just ask him about him and not share my feelings. And I read all these books that tell me to. I mean, Whitney Cummings found a boyfriend because she read a book. Her husband. I go, how did you get that guy? You have been bad with men forever. You've been vocal about it. You seem really happy. And she's like, I read this book, Getting to I Do. It's the dumbest book, but it helped me. And it's pretty much just like, shut the fuck up, let him talk.
Are you serious?
It really is, dude. She read it and found a boyfriend from it too. It works.
It does?
Yes.
And letting him talk?
Yet letting.
It's more involved than that.
Does
it involve anal?
That's chapter 2.
That's all I can offer in a relationship.
2 is pretty quick to
it gets right to
chapter
anal. Yeah,
2.
it does.
Yeah.
That's why you
Talk
get the boyfriend.
less and then turn around.
That's the end of
Sounds
the book.
like
It's a pop-up book.
I do.
My old brain knows my old
girlfriend, old,
Yep.
tried and true. She's here for me.
And we know how old this thing is.
Yep, 37.
Yep.
Was born a year after me. I grew arms late.
You came out of your mom and kept your hand in for the first year
For
of your
her.
life.
That's
For
what
her.
she wanted.
Yeah, she enjoys a good fisting.
Just one arm. This one.
Sorry, Mrs. Collin.
It's fine. She's can't hear anymore. So I think my old brain. What?
I was mouthing to her
Oh.
because she can't hear anymore.
Oh.
She wouldn't understand you. Lip reading for you, no one understands whatever. It's
Whatever
all the
I
same.
say actually
You're like a
looks
Muppet
like sorry.
talking. It all looks the
Yeah,
same.
yeah,
It's like a horse chewing on peanut butter. That's how we get him to talk on the show. We give him these bars.
How did you know it was
What is this?
There's condoms in there.
this?
There's
What's like the number one thing about like a girl's look that like when she does something where you're like, I'm glad that they did that. Like a lot of guys are like, I don't even notice when they get their nails done. Their hair, I don't even notice. It's like, is there something that you could point to that like, oh, you do appreciate when girls do?
I mean, lips more than nails, for sure.
Oh, really? Like
Yeah.
lipstick?
Yeah, you could tell. Yeah, you look at a face. You don't look at hands, really.
But I mean,
you
like,
look at
you-
hands secondary.
You like lips with gloss on them more than not.
Yes.
Really? I would never have thought that.
Why? They're more juicy. It's like a steak.
But I also
with-
feel like guys don't want,
to get it on them.
yeah.
I don't think guys have a problem with that. Has a guy been like, "Don't kiss me because you have lipstick on"?
Yeah, I put on lipsticks, and I sometimes don't wear it because
If
my
it's, like,
ex-boyfriend
cherry
always
red,
was
if
like, I don't want to get gloss on me.
If it's fiery red, then that could
Yes.
come up in your head.
Yeah, okay. Do you notice when we don't shave our legs?
Yes.
You do. Even though your legs are hairy, you can feel the hair on ours.
Yeah, because we're just trained to like hairless legs. Same with armpits. A little bit of armpit hair, just
Do you know
like
that's
it
like in
shoots
this
out.
century, like women before the disposable razor, women did not have to shave their legs. Every woman, because to get a shave, you would have to go to a barber. Like disposable razors, men didn't even shave at home. And so women, to go to a barber to get your legs shaved, no one did it. Women just never shaved. And because of the disposable razor, I think within the 20th century was what popularized shaving their legs. Before then, women had hairy legs forever. And it was
Yeah.
not even thought that you would be hairless. That
It
was not
wouldn't
even
be. It wouldn't be. But it's like you're.
But now it's like it is required. And the other day I dry shaved.
Yeah.
Like I was leaving to go. I was going to go to a set, but there was a guy there that I was like, he might, if he's feeling a little bit saucy tonight, he might like touch my leg. So I need to be
Did
shaved.
you have
so
a skirt on?
No, but I was like, maybe my pants will come up or something. Like,
Well, I
maybe
would
he'll
feel like a
just,
woman if you shaved just your calf, you should be fine. It's usually whenever the gene will come
it's
up.
seeing it
and
more
you'll
than
see-
feeling it.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
So you'll just see like a few hairs, and then you're like, well, if she's not shaving right there, it probably just gets worse. But I know I shouldn't feel that way. I think I shouldn't be over
well,
sensitive to
Be
it.
honest with me. Could you be into a girl and then see hair, black hair on her ankles, chins area, and be like, not into
I've
her?
never like hooked up with before.
Yeah, like all up
it
here
could
it's
be-
great,
yeah.
and then you see that and you're like, it turns you off a little bit. Is there
Yeah.
what can instantly turn you off from a woman that
Armpit
you're
hair.
really?
Yeah.
Oh my god,
Uh,
I always flaunt
na-
my armpit hair around you. I love that I do that. Okay, that's a
Yeah, it
good way
makes
to
me
keep it.
really nauseous.
Great.
It's not good. I mean, it's actually interesting because like I've seen girls nowadays. A lot of them will have long.
I think I just shaved the other night.
Yeah, you're good.
There might be a little crevice.
Oh no, there is hair.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not good.
Yeah.
It's bad. Should be shot.
You want to see this?
That's a little much, I think. You want to see this?
No, no. I know.
It's bad.
I know. Of course it's bad.
Did I just get caught louing? Did I lure you in?
No,
That was bad.
you'd have to be funny. You are funny.
Don't lie.
You're funny.
Shut the fuck up.
And if you took your dick out, I would just like leave. Thank you so much for watching that clip that you just watched. Did you enjoy it? I hope you did. If you did, thumbs up it. Why don't you subscribe? Why don't you just keep watching more videos? Let them play. Share with your friends. Go share on your Instagram story. Go, just have a great day.